Hello everyone, and thank you so much for returning to my channel. I am the Basic Witch of the Basic Witch Tarot, and today I'll be doing a deck flip through of Tattoo Tarot Ink and Intuition. So let's jump straight in. The deck itself was designed and published in the UK. The descriptions and meanings of each card were written by Diana McMahon Collis, and the drawings and illustrations on both the box and the cards were done by Mega Munden, who is an illustrator and tattoo artist, also in the UK. So I will put up all the links to their social media pages and anywhere that you can get the deck, but it's pretty easily accessible on the internet and stuff like that. So we'll jump into the actual cards itself. So as you can see, the box is pretty big. The box itself is bigger than the size of the card itself. So the deck itself, if I can get the booklet out, just sits in there. I'll just lean that up there for a quick second. We'll see if nothing falls out. It is going to fall out. Anyway, so with this comes its own little white book. And it just gives a quick introduction about tarot and the makers of this deck. It gives you their way of interpreting the cards, and it gives you some cool little spreads to try and to do yourself. The thing I do really like about this little white book is it does go through what each of the suits mean in their own little description way, and then what the numbers on each card will represent. So especially if you're learning how to read tarot, it's good to try and remember at least what each number on the minor arcana will mean. So this gives you a really good head start on learning those. It starts off, it also talks about the courts really quick and sort of what they'll represent. So I like this because it gives you the chance to kind of learn the broadness and the overall meaning. So whilst each suit will have a different overall vibe and a meaning and element, at least if you know that, like, okay, so the Four of Anything will be, oh my God, where to go? The Four of Anything will be about, stability and foundation and structure. So at least you know that if you come to the Four of Anything, you'll know that that's kind of the situation at hand, and the depictions and the suit will give you a more detailed read. Same with the courts. The kings, you know that it's usually representing a male or at least a masculine energy who is at the top of their game, the top of every suit. And the queens, it'll be a more feminine energy, also at the top of each suit. And then you've got your knights and your pages as well. It starts off really quick in the minor arcanas, and they just have just the basic meanings, which I actually think is really cool, because then that gives you the opportunity to really let your intuition tell you the story and tell you what the cards are trying to say. But it's also nice to have a little bit of a description. And the coins are obviously the pentacles for this deck. I should back it up a little bit, shouldn't I? For some unknown reason, my focus has been a little bit non-compliant, so I'll do my best to keep up with it. And then you go into your major arcanas. Now, they don't give you a meaning for the reversal or the shadow side of each card in this particular book. So if you do want to know, or if you do want to read reversals, you can with this deck. But it would help if you knew them already or had other material to refer back to. So you can already kind of see what the cards are going to look like. Mega Munden's tattoos look very similar to these, or pretty much identical to these cards. And every card I've looked at in this deck absolutely looks like a tattoo that I have seen at least one person in my life have, and I think that they are just amazing. So we'll jump into the cards. I'll just clean this up nicely so that you can see everything. So we'll start off with our major arcanas, and I'll try and keep this as focused as I can. It would help if I didn't move around so much, but So it still sticks to your traditional RWS meanings and illustrations. But I think as you hopefully, well, this is only the third video that I've done, but you do get to see how each creator of a deck gets to put their own interpretations and illustrations in and stuff like that. The other thing I like about this deck is its borders are also quite small, because I've always been quite the fan of a borderless, or at least a small border deck. Now, I could be very wrong when I say this. I think it's a Marseille or Marseille style. But please, any professional tattooists or aficionados of tattoos and art, please tell me sort of like the style that this is in. But they all look very RWS-like, with its own little extra bits put in there. The only one thing that I love the whole deck. The only one thing I do not like is every other deck with the strength card that I've come across. It is someone padding the line and being very friendly to it, whereas this guy's kind of really got his hand stuck in his mouth. Focus on that as best I can. There we go. And I don't know, like I just like animals, so I just don't like the idea of doing that to a lion. But that's all right. But I think the artist has done very well in showing you straight up what this card is meant to mean with their illustrations. Like you even if there was no name on it, you would probably be able to pretty much say with great confidence what each one would be, which is super cool. Oh, the light changed slightly, so hopefully you'll still be able to get a good look at it. So we're nearing the end of the major arcanas, and the minor arcanas threw me through a loop. This world card is just incredible. Look at this detail and everything on it. Amazing. No, they threw me through a little bit of a loop because they've referred to the coins, the pentacles, as coins, and I'm not entirely sure if you've seen any of my other videos. I like things in alphabetical order. So in this one, the cups are not the first suit that you'll see. But I'll get all the cups up ready together. So in alphabetical order, we're doing the coins first, which is the pentacles. So still sticking with the pip system. But I just noticed this as well, like the two of pentacles or the two of coins obviously does talk about, like, you know, balance and with your finances and stuff like that. And then it's got the little scales in there as well. So again, it really does, this deck really does give you the meaning straight away, and then leaves you and your intuition to interpret the rest, which is really cool. So I find it really helpful. See, charity, giving, helping and receiving. And I was a little bit behind. Well, I wasn't behind. I was very absent from social media this week. So I haven't got, this is actually a week late, this video. And I haven't used it on my social media over the past week. So there will be another deck that we will go through. I am going to keep up with the weeks, but I'm just going to use both decks throughout the week and just post twice as what I usually would, so that you guys still get to see these decks in action and see how they look in spreads and stuff. I will be using this deck with reversals. so you'll be able to see what the reversals in a spread and stuff look like as well. And then after this video, I'll make the next deck, but I'm not going to tell you what it is yet. Oh, that's what I forgot to mention, but we'll get there in a second. Just about the Knave, because that actually confused me as well when I first got this deck. So even though the box had a lot of foiling on it, the cards don't. So I'm moving them around a little bit just because the lighting in this room changed. But you will be able to see it really easily when you do readings and stuff. And it has a very matte finish on the cards. It's got no gloss or anything like that, which is really good. So it doesn't matter where you are or where you're reading them. You'll absolutely know what you're looking at when you're looking at them. And then at the end of this video, I'll show you it up against the standard RWS deck that I have. Now, this is what threw me through a loop, was calling the page Knaves. So I actually had to Google that when I first got this deck. But just for anybody watching this who may be a beginner, the Knave is the page in any deck. Right. Look at how beautiful these queens are. They're exactly what I wish I could look like and how I could do my hair and my makeup. And I feel like the kings as well, they look, the style of the artwork is, aside from the other word that I said, I think it's like Marseille. It's also traditional, but the kings kind of look a little bit like the kind of gentleman that you'd see in 2020, which I think is super cool. So it's traditional yet recent. I don't know. Hopefully you understand what I'm saying. So super fast doing these videos now that I'm not doing comparisons. I always refer back to the very first video I did, which took me an hour. And I'm looking at this one and I'm only up to like 13 minutes. So I don't have to hold you guys up nearly as much as I did the first time, which is good. And even these guys have tattoos. Tattoo Tarot. So we're on to our last suit, which is the Wands. I'll also do a shuffle as well so you can see how it shuffles. As I said, I'll compare it to the standard RWS deck that I have so that you can see the card stock size, thickness, and any differences that you can see. And then I guess we're done. And as I said, I'll post as much of them as I can on my social media so that at least you guys get a decent look at it. I do like looking at, when I look up a new deck that I might want and stuff, I do like the Google images. But if I can find how the cards look in spreads and stuff like that, then it just gives me, oh dear. Hang on, I just dropped something. Wait there. I think it was the 8 of Wands that I dropped as well, in a speedy, flying by the seat of my pants fashion. As I was saying, if I can find pictures of the deck itself being used in different spreads and in different drawers, then it just gives me an indication a little bit for me about whether or not I'm going to connect with the deck. Because I have heard stories where you think you'll like the deck and then you get the deck and then you don't relate to it very well. So I feel like hopefully you guys seeing the cards being used on my Instagram will give you a bit of an indication of whether or not you will be able to connect with the tarot deck. All right, so that is the cards, or those are the cards. I think you can see pretty much straight away that it is quite a thick deck. The cardstock is very thick and stiff. I must admit I haven't used this deck a lot, so it's probably not shuffled in as well as it could be. So this may be giving you an indication of how well it shuffles or how it shuffles when you first get the deck. But as we all know, once you start using the deck, it does tend to just give a little bit and get a little bit more flexible. So just hang about there and I will get my standard deck. There we go. Okay. So there's my standard. So straight away, these cards are just a little bit bigger. It's actually, I feel like, inside the border is the exact same size as your standard RWS deck. It is the added border that adds just a little bit of small size. And I'll straighten this up so that you guys can see size differences. All right, so straight away, I don't even think I'm going to have to change the camera angle. I just need to change the angle of where the cards are. Straight up, you can see that the cardstock is thicker. I don't know if it says, it doesn't say on the box what kind of cardstock this is on, but I will find out for you and I'll write it in the description as well. I might actually just try and see if I can zoom in a little bit so that you can see the difference. So it is going to be a thicker deck. It's a bigger deck, so it is a bit more of a big shuffle. So if you can, if you have to split the deck or something in order to be able to shuffle it, by all means. And then, given the matte finish, however, I have found that it always has been quite a smooth shuffle though. But it is a thick deck. And then I will try, my hand is still injured. I don't know that I'll be able to do the shuffle that well, but we'll give it a crack. I'm dropping one. I'll pick it back up. Whoop. Yeah, so the cardstock is very thick. So, but as I said, if you shuffle it a lot, it'll probably start getting a little bit more flexible. And as you can see with the back of the card, you can't tell if it's an upright or a reversed card. So if you do want to read reversals with this deck, you won't be able to tell if a card has been reversed in your deck. So it's good for reversals as well. Okay guys, so that is the Tattoo Tarot Ink and Intuition. I am the Basic Witch of Basic Witch Tarot. You can find me on my Instagram at basicwitchtarot_. I have a website, thebasicwitchtarot.com, and those are probably the two spots that you'll be able to find me the best. I'm still working on how I want my Facebook to be and how I want my Facebook to look for this. So yeah, at the moment, Instagram and my website is where I'll be. Thank you so much for being here again, you guys. I really appreciate your support, and I hope you have a blessed week again. Thanks guys, bye.